Welcome back to another movie review on the channel. Today we'll be doing a shorter review of House Party. It's going to be a shorter review because I don't have too much to say about it, but I still wanted to talk about it. Um, Basically, House Party is about two club promoters, Damon and Kevin, who are trying to make a name for themselves and find a way to get by, and they are currently just working a job at a cleaning company, and they stumble upon a house that they're cleaning, which ends up being LeBron James's house, and you can kind of tell where this is going, and they decide that they want to throw a party in it. As always, again, there will be a spoiler-free section of the review, and a spoiler section. Again, both sections are going to be pretty short, but overall, I went into this movie very open-minded. When I saw the trailer, I was kind of intrigued, but it wasn't like I needed to race to the theaters again and stuff like that. I just kind of wanted to go. I didn't expect it to be a great movie, and I just wanted to have a good time. And I think that's exactly what this film does here. Something that I didn't know going into it that I think was a little bit interesting is that LeBron James actually took part in producing the film, which is a little bit interesting. I knew that he was going to star in it, but I didn't know he was actually going to be a part of the back end of the production of the film. So that was interesting on its own. It came out a couple of days ago, but and something interesting to note that caught me by a little bit of a surprise is it only had a $2.5 million budget, but that was for the first one. Um, I can't necessarily tell exactly what the budget is, but essentially, I would call it a box office flop. I don't think it did that well in the box office. Overall, the reviews are very poor, but I think there is still some appreciation to get out of the film. I think if you look at it strictly just from a comedy film aspect and nothing else, I think this film is actually a very solid comedy story with some actual underlying messages that are portrayed throughout the story. And I think those messages are very important and just give a unique twist on the comedy, and I think it allows to, for some lessons to be taught. And so I think if you look at it from that sense, it's an overall very solid film, and I think if you just go in, have an open mind, going with friends, family, a loved one for a date night, just I think you'd have a good time. Um, if we're looking at it cinematically, just overall as a film, I mean I can't rate it as high as I would, as you would think. I would probably overall as a film, I would probably give it like a 3.25 out of 5, maybe a 3.5 if we're feeling a little generous. Um, because there's a lot of issues with it overall as a film, but like I said, that's not what this film was. This isn't what I was going into it expecting it to be some cinematic masterpiece. Um, so I think that's something to keep in mind. If we're looking at it from on a comedy movie scale and we're just rating it out of like on a comedy, I would probably give it a solid 4.5 out of 5 stars in terms of a comedy, and I think you would just have a good time and enjoy yourself. Um, and yeah, so that's kind of all for the spoiler free section. There isn't really much I can talk about without really spoiling too much of the film, but as always, if you want a written portion of the review, uh, there will be a link to my letterbox review of it in the or my letterbox profile, and there'll be a review on there in the comments or in the description below. Um, and yeah, so moving over to the spoiler section here. There we go. Um, this film just features so many different random celebrities that it's kind of just overwhelming. Um, like I didn't expect Kid Cudi to be in there. I didn't expect so many different celebrities. It's just celebrity galore. The story was overall kind of predictable. Obviously, the throwing a party in LeBron's house, I kind of expected. Though the only thing logical it would make sense is for LeBron to end up showing up during the party, and I think um the way this movie goes down with one of the guys getting arrested and kind of taking the blame for everything kind of just goes back to that message thing I was saying, where people are gonna always be there for their boys and take the blame when they need to and stuff like that. Um, Overall, I mean, the story, it wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't the worst. It was just very predictable, but still, like I said, just a good time. I think everything else. Um, Drewski, being in there was hilarious. Just overall a great time. Um, Kid Cudi played more of a factor in the film that I really anticipated. He was probably the A-list celebrity in terms of the most screen time and actually just having an impact on the story when it came to giving LeBron the poem and stuff like that, which kind of altered the film a little bit, and also just the Illuminati scene with him and him. Towards the end, during the end credit scenes, basically, we get a small scene of him getting resurrected by the Illuminati, and all that changes is his hair color. So every time his hair color, it's kind of like a different Kid Cudi. Yeah, I don't know. It was an interesting film. Overall, I had a good time. Like I said, I already gave my ratings. I'd love to know what you think down in the comments below if you saw it, and I will see you on the next one.